What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another post game here on Mets Central. And the Mets won a game. They won a game because there was a different energy in the stadium today with Nolan McLean making his MLB debut. And it couldn't have gone any better for him unless he threw a no hitter, I guess. But he was unbelievable. There was a different feel, like I said, in that ballpark. I mean, every single time they showed him on the Jumbotron, even when he was in the dugout, just loud ovation for Noel McLean. And he ends up going out there, balling. The offense still played like garbage. But this is what the difference is with getting some volume from a starting pitcher. And this felt like a vintage win from the Mets in April/May, where you would get some decent length from your starters, I guess, sort of decent length, but you would get decent length and the bullpen would just shut the other team down. And that's what we saw today. And I was very happy for once to see the pitching do that. It sucks that the offense, like I said, was not great again, which you're going against Brian Wu. So I'm not entirely surprised as well. But Noah McLean just put this team on his back today. And we're going to talk about it. Before we jump into everything, leave a like on your way into the post game show here. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel, especially if you're Met fans, and turn on your notifications so you know when we upload or go live here on Met Central. But yeah, I mean, like I said, the star of the show is the man who made his MLB debut. And just going into the ballpark, it felt like it meant something. Every pitch from him felt like it meant something. And it was great when Carlos Mendoza stepped out of that dugout to try to, or not try to, he did take him out. When he stepped out of the dugout to take him out, and everyone's booing Mendoza for taking him out, because we all want him to go that extra inning there. We wanted to see him go out there and finish the sixth inning. Unfortunately, that was not the case, but I'm kind of split on that decision, which it doesn't matter now because they won. There's nothing to look back on, which I thought for a second it was going to backfire because it looked like Gregory Soto for a second was about to allow a home run when he did. But yeah, I mean, he just from the jump looked sharp, getting two strikeouts in his first inning. He walked Cal Raleigh. And that was honestly the thing that I would like to see improve. And I think it will improve. I mean, it's his first start in the major leagues. I wanted to see him just go out there and attack hitters a little bit more. And that third inning, if that third inning didn't unfold the way it did, you're probably looking at 6 innings from him because outside of that, he was just in command of this game the entire time that he was out there. And yeah, I mean, that 9 pitch at bat to JP Crawford in the third inning, you can't be walking the 8 and 9 hitters there. Cole Young isn't anything special. You can't be walking him. And yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing was I really just wanted to see him attack more with his heat. I thought he should have used the four seam a little more, maybe use the sinker a little bit more, especially against that part of the lineup just to get by there. But again, I'm not going to sit here and ridicule the kid because he went out there and did something the starting pitching staff has not done in ages, it feels like, and that is actually give 5 innings minus Senga, I guess, recently, but giving 5 innings outside of again the 4 walks, 8 strikeouts for him, only 2 hits against, and one of them being Cal Raleigh, and the other one was I'm trying to actually remember who the other hit was from. I think it was it was Canzone. But yeah, I just felt at points I wanted to see him attack the zone a little more. And again, that's something he'll get more comfortable with, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, the slider, sweeper, rather. I don't know why they had it as a slider on the Jumbotron, but the sweeper that he was throwing consistently, beautiful. The curveball, getting swing and misses on that. He had 5 whiffs on the curveball today. Just pure dominance from the kid. Getting 2 punch outs in that fourth inning there. And Yeah, I mean, I wanted to see him finish the sixth inning regardless. And again, I get he was at 90 pitches, and I get with the lefty up, you probably want to go to Gregory Soto. But I felt with the way the bullpen is and with the way this kid's dealing, why the hell not? But he ends up getting a huge ovation nonetheless. And yeah, I mean, just electric to watch. And it gave something to actually be excited about while watching this team play. Because again, the rest of the game, not as exciting to be honest with you. This offense once again struggled to produce anything offensively, leaving a continent on base multiple times throughout this game. It started in the first inning when they ended up having first and second with one out. You watch Pete Alonso go up there and strike out. You watch Jeff McNeil line out. And even in the third inning, I mean, I wanted more damage done there. Brett Beatty gets a leadoff single. Lindor gets a double. At least he has been on fire. So that's something that you could take away with Lindor. But again, it doesn't matter if the rest of the offense isn't going to show up. I wanted to see more damage there. And unfortunately, they didn't end up scoring more. Um, you know, even in the sixth inning, you get bases loaded. Ronnie Mauricio comes up, pops out. And then the seventh inning, they at least ended up scoring, which something I'm thankful for is for once they actually realized, hey, we're allowed to hit off of opposing teams' bullpens because that is something that this team has not done over the past few games. It feels like outside of some of the team's worst relievers and Caleb Ferguson, while he's not dominant, at least there was actually some life from the offense. And I was surprised Mendoza didn't use Vientos in that spot for Brett Beatty, but it worked out because he ends up getting a single, steals a bag as well, and then Lindor gets a single as well, steals a bag. Soto gets a sac fly. Brandon Nimmo gets a single, but Mike Sarbaugh, once again, this guy needs to he needs to go. Mike Sarbaugh needs to go. I don't understand how he thought on that Brandon Nimmo single that it was far enough for Lindor to score, and he gets gunned out at the plate. That to me was a ludicrous send, and it has happened way too much. Pete Alonso then got a double, which made it 3-0. So, and then in the ninth inning, Diaz allowed a home run to Suarez, which was fine. I thought maybe it was going to get a little worrisome the game from there, but thankfully not. All I know is that, I'm happy they won this game. I'm happy McLean looked good. I mean, again, that is the biggest positive of it all is you look like you got yourself potentially a starter to use down the stretch here. And to no surprise, he's staying up with the club, and as he should. And it looks like you finally have yourself someone that could take the ball every 5 days and give you something. It's one start, so I'm not going to sit here and over celebrate one way or the other. But all I know is that it at least is encouraging to watch someone, even though he wasn't attacking hitters in that third inning, outside of that, attack hitters, weaponize the full arsenal. Look like he knows what he's doing as well, going through the order a couple times, which is something that we don't see from this team, from the starting pitching staff. And I'm watching him throw heat nonetheless, too. So, if anything, this just shows it was long overdue to call him up. But I'm very happy that they won for him. It needs to be better. They can't leave a continent on base. Cedric Mullins, once again, was garbage. Ronnie Mauricio, once again, garbage day at the plate. Alvarez had a couple of rough at-bats. Soto, once again, with runners in scoring position, not giving you enough. So the same problems are still here. The only difference is you had the bullpen lock it down, which huge credit to Gregory Soto as well. Soto and Diaz, both major credit to them, especially Gregory Soto, who really isn't accustomed to giving that sort of volume, but the pitch count relatively stayed low for him. So major credit to him because I did not want to see Stanek come into this game. I did not want to see Reed Garrett come into this game with the way he's pitched lately. He needed some rest. And then Diaz, very glad you were able to get 6 outs from him, which I thought at first they were going to just go the 3 outs in the 8th. And, I was very happy because I'm like, oh, Mendoza finally going to his best reliever against the best part of the order. Like, this is something we don't see from him. And it ended up just being a 6 out save. So hopefully we see it going forward where he does that, because I don't know if Mendoza was watching, but that first inning Diaz went out there just lights out. But thankfully they were able to get as many outs as they were from him for for yeah, for the fact that they needed it, because if they had to go to Stanek or Garrett there, which were probably the two likely guys available, that would have just been a disaster. And for once, they just didn't have a bullpen implosion. That's really the big difference in this one, outside of course, having your starting pitcher dominate. But yeah, outside of that, the offense still needs to be cleaned up. Mike Sarbaugh still needs to get his head out of his ass. And we'll see what happens tomorrow, but I'm glad that they won for McLean. Like, that was really the main thing that I wanted to see, is go out there and win for your rookie pitcher who went out there and dominated. But outside of that, again, things have to get cleaned up still, because it was not a pretty win by any means. And I still want to see a hell of a lot more from an offense that should be doing a hell of a lot more. But either way, let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. I see you guys talking about Wheeler right now, which, yes, first of all, even though he is on the Phillies, even though, you know, we want to see the Mets win the division, I hope that Wheeler ends up being okay, and I hope that his recovery goes quickly, because that is just scary and horrible to hear that he had a blood clot. Um, yeah, I just feel really bad about that. And again, I hope that it's a speedy recovery for him. Never want to see a guy go down with an injury, especially um, a guy like Zach Wheeler, which, even though he destroys the Mets, um, you know, I miss him. Miss Zach Wheeler being a Met, and I hope the best for him. But we also have to look at it from a baseball perspective at the same time and say, with him going down, the Mets, they've dug themselves such a hole with how shit they've played. But there is a chance here, if Wheeler's out for an extended period of time, to salvage the division. Am I sitting here and telling you they're going to do it? No, no. There is not a chance in hell I'm going to try to sell any of you that they are going to do it, because I have to see them play good baseball before I could say they could do it. But there is an opportunity there, and you got to take advantage of it, is all I'll say. But I don't feel great still about it. McLean looked great. Soto needs to pick it up. Yeah, I mean, not just Juan Soto, but the rest of the lineup. You need to see more from this lineup, which, again, these guys are just, they're underperforming way too much still, outside of Lindor as of lately, and that's the bottom line. I don't care how good Brian Wu is. This offense should be full of talented players. Well, I mean, it is, which that's all Mendoza talks about. So you should be hitting them. And yeah, I mean, pulling him was probably the right move, Ray. Selfishly, though, I want him to stay in that ballpark. Wanted him to stay in that game. As far as the win, even a blind squirrel finds a nut from time to time. This team makes me feel that way. Unfortunately, that's a kid pitch great. So congrats to him. And that's how I feel. Like, again, I'm not sitting here telling you that the season's turning around now, because unfortunately, Noah McLean only goes out there every 5 days. If you could duplicate him and have him go for the rest of the rotation, then I would be talking completely differently right now. But unfortunately, that's not the case. Fortunately, though, you at least have the luxury of him going out there every 5 days now, and that's at least something that will help. And yeah, it was long overdue. That's the problem. Like this should have been done way, way earlier in the season. Way, way earlier. And yeah, again, like it was the right move. It was. I wanted, like, I think selfishly, we all wanted to see him stay out there because it was so fun watching him pitch. When's the last time you went to the ballpark and had fun watching a starting pitcher go out there? It's been a minute. DeGrom actually might be DeGrom. Maybe when there was excitement with Christian Scott last year. But I don't know. To me, it's more like the last time I had this much excitement going to the ballpark to watch a starter was DeGrom. And I'm not telling you McLean's going to be DeGrom. I'm just saying from an excitement level of watching a pitcher go out there and do his thing. People like what we've talked about in here, and others have said this is how you build your rotation, develop your own pitchers. More is on the way as well. 1,000,000%. And, if there's an opportunity for a trade in the offseason, maybe you look there. But if not, you got to fill it in with guys like this. McLean, Sproat, who's on the way eventually, Tong. It's exciting to think about that. Just unfortunate that it can't just be now to have that rotation. But either way, I'm going to wrap things up here. Thank you everyone for tuning in and watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. Turn on your notifications so you know when we upload or go live here on Met Central. And I'll see you guys in the next one.